Hello everyone. Hopefully y'all can hear me. I can see there's a few people in the stream. Hopefully you guys like the video. It took a long time to edit. But yeah, let's see. I put up a Q&A in case you guys have any questions. I'll tackle them in the sort of end of my showcasing how to download all of this. But basically the plan of this stream is to sort of put in the part that I didn't really think fit the video, because I wanted it to be sort of entertaining. But this is for you guys who want to know how to install and sort of set up this entire thing. But basically, I'll drag it up on the screen right now. Here you can see my Discord. And in the Ultimate Overhaul tab here, right here, in the first link that you can find, right here, you can download the all-in-one entire pack. Everything is in there. All the texture packs, all the mods, and everything. Is the mod that limits FPS when the game on in the pack? Yes. All the performance mods are in the pack. For you guys that struggle with performance on Wynn, I've also put together a performance only pack. This is to help those who need more FPS on Wynncraft, basically, because it can be a laggy game if you're on older PCs or laptops. You can find it right here in the specific downloads link. If you also just want specific things outside of the all-in-one, basically, you can find those here, but they're already included. Here's also the steps to install, but I'll show that in the stream. I also put together short frequently asked questions, and then some recommended settings. And here's a description of all the mods. There's a lot of them, as you can see, and sort of a little description on what they all do in case you're interested. And in the very bottom, you can see your expected performance that I put together with Lucullus and Midnight Kelly. But yeah, before we start, just need to update the description of the video because it didn't want to let me update it during the premiere. It still doesn't let me update it, and that is not good. But anyways, all of the things are on the Discord, so let me keep reading the chat here. I won't sort of, I'll try to keep a tab on what you guys are talking about, but yeah, I hope you guys liked it, the video. Well, let's see. I'm just reading. Distant Horizons would be a nice option for the performance pack. That would be smart. I did put Bobby in it instead of Distant Horizons. This runs on Fabric. Yes, it does. What's the mod that limits FPS? It's called Dynamic FPS. But yeah, so how do you install all of this? Well, let me break down this entire thing for you guys. In this link here on my Discord, you can basically download the entire pack. It's a zipped file. Once you get that, look at my cool new background just for this video. Once you download it, you get this file right here. Then you unzip it to get the actual folder. It's a folder that's called .WinOverhaul, and it contains the Bobby with the lobby.wynncraft.com IP, Fabric as in just the Fabric loader, all the mods, and in this little optional here you can find Train Guys Animation Overhaul if you want that instead of NotEnoughAnimations and 3D skins. But yeah, so it won't load when it's in this little folder here, so you can drag it in and drag those into the optional one, or delete them if you don't want them. Then over here in the resource packs, we have the latest Wynncraft texture pack, the Water Improved texture pack, the Fungal Orchestral pack, and the Fresh Animations Fabric Wynncraft version. Now, Fresh Animations is for it's for Optifine, but the creator of one of the mods called CEM, or custom entity models. He made a fork for his mod so it works on Fabric, and then I made a fork of that so it works with the Wynncraft textures. And then in shader packs, you can find the complementary shaders with settings included. And then here's just a loader. So what do you do with this sort of folder? That's all you need and all you need to download. Right click on your start menu, or however you find run or the app data. Because once you right click, we can type in percentage app data percentage, as you can see here. And you click OK. Once you get there, we get the app data folder. Let me just move this up here. And all we need to do is drag in this .Wynncraft overhaul into that folder. As you can see, it's where the actual Minecraft and my other Minecraft folders are. But yeah, so that's basically all you need to do. You just drag it in there. Then we can close that down. We open up the Minecraft launcher. Let it just load here for a second. And what you do next is that you go into installations. We click new installation. We can just name it ultimate. Oops, I can't type. Ultimate overhaul, like so. And then here in the game directory, we click browse. Now it's already typed in, so you don't need to worry about all these little boxes. You just scroll, and here you will see the normal .Minecraft marked, but we just put in the Wyn overhaul. So you scroll until you see .win-overhaul. Click on just that so it's marked, and then you click OK. Then we can go down into more options, and if you have it on your computer, you can allocate more RAM to the game. I would suggest 4 or 8 gigabytes if you have that to spare. I just put in 16 because I can. And then we click create. Now that's not fully done yet because we need to go back in here. And then we need to click edit again. And then once it's sort of understood that we are using this directory, we can click on version, scroll down, and we see Fabric 1.18.2, the loader, and then you click save. And then you just click play. And that's everything. That's all the mods. Everything is installed right there. Just like that. But since it's a fresh sort of game directory for Minecraft, we need to set up some settings. So we just wait for it to start here. So there we go. Now the reason we are using the lobby link is because when you click on this little Wynntils icon right here, I don't know why replay mod is in there. Did I start from the wrong directory? Oh wait, I clicked on the wrong thing, didn't I? Maybe I did. We'll see. Yeah, I did click on the wrong thing. Whoops. Did I click play on the wrong installation? Alright, try this again. Replay mod is allowed to be used. Oh yeah, I did. See, I clicked. We're using this ultimate overhaul. There we go. There we go. Now that looks to be correct. Most of the folder size comes from the Bobby and Voices of Wynn. Yes, it does. It's like 900 megabytes, almost a gigabyte, I think. Dynamic FPS is not in the pack I have. I checked it the other day, I think, and yeah, there we go. So since it's a fresh install, yeah, I just click anonymous here because I don't like data. Oh right, no, I click none. That's what I do. So as you can see, fresh folder of Minecraft. That means we need settings up. So I'm just gonna start off by turning off. Well, actually, we can have master volume up, but turning off the music. But basically, we can start off here in the settings. FOV, I just prefer it at 90. And then with the, no, I need to fix the GUI scale first because it is way too big. So we can go into the video settings right here. On GUI scale, I usually prefer, I think it's a 2. Yeah. Okay, so let's start off with some settings, shall we? But we can log on for Wynn. But the problem is, yes, proceed. Problem is we can't use the normal Wynn button there, because if you want to use fresh animations and all of those texture packs, you need to launch this from, or sort of without the texture pack. So we're gonna disable server texture packs. I'll update the pack and the downloadable texture every time there's a new Wynncraft texture pack. But this is basically something you're gonna have to suffer through. You trust KMaxi with your data? Nah. I don't. But yeah. But basically, now we're here on Wynn. As you can see, we have some weird things going on right now, but we're just gonna join a world so we have Wynncraft to look at while we're setting all of this up. Oh, yeah. Let's just select class. Yep. Sounds. This looks about. This looks about right. This is totally normal. Actually, if we can go to a class that's so hard to see which class is which, but I believe it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It should be that one. Hey, nice. Okay, so the reason we can't play with the texture pack is because we want to use all these other texture packs. So we start off by loading Wynn 2.0.1 first. Then we can go with Water Improved, Fungal Pack, and why is not fresh animations in here? Oh, do you actually need to unzip it perhaps? Probably. I didn't remember that you needed that, but we can extract that and drag that in just like that. And click done. You can already hear the music, so I'm gonna pause the lo-fi music. Now we have fresh animations. Okay, so you need to unzip that. So I'll update the download thing for everyone who does this after, so it's already unzipped. But yeah, so we have the fresh animations right there. That's the texture packs fixed. Did you not test this, or did you just forget? I forgot that you needed to unzip the thing. Because I saw it the other day and I zipped it for some reason. But anyways, so here we are. This looks to be about right. So what are we gonna do? Well, as you can see, I'm not in first person, so I'll fix that by starting off like this. So I'm just gonna start off by lowering the volume of everything. The reason you need to sort of have everything low except voice and speech, it's because voices of Wynn is rather low. So have everything except voice and speech low. I'm gonna lower this a little bit more. We'll see. Oh wait, you guys can't hear it yet. My mistake. In extra sounds, you need to turn off potions and effects. And that's because Wynncraft gives you constant potion effects like walk speed, jump height, etc. Attack speed, also one. Then, yeah, we have a lot of settings to do. So let's start off with the normal sort of Minecraft settings. Render distance, like I said in the video, check the different performance options or the sort of walkthrough graphs, and depending on that, choose different. If you're on a laptop, 12. If you're on a PC, 15 to 20, maybe even 32. But as you can see, it doesn't go above 32 for now. We'll get that when we get to configuring all the mods. So we start with 32, for example. Then we can make sure that VSync is turned off, because otherwise your FPS will look weird. Max frame rate, don't have it be unlimited, because sodium is weird and doesn't really work well with that. In quality, we can just have fancy graphics. Biome blend I tend to put to 0 to really see the color difference of the grass with the ambient environment mod. And then for distortion effects, I usually just turn this and the other one down to 22%. Mip map 2 to 4 is fine. If your performance is really suffering, turn it off. Performance tab here, we can go. I actually need to take up my little notes here so I can see what I usually have on this. So let's see. We have chunk update threads, usually 2 to 4, so I'll put 4. Always defer chunk updates, we're gonna put to yes. And then block face culling, yes. And that is about it in this tab. In the advanced tab, we have async on chunk memory allocation, 3 frames ahead, and we can basically leave this as is. In the more culling tab here, one of the mods to help performance, we want to turn off this top one, block state one. Otherwise, it will make things look weird. In the animations tab, we can leave that as is. In particles, I like to scroll all the way down here to the very bottom and disable sparkle, because it does a little sparkle on you, the player, which is annoying to look at if you play in third person. In details, I usually turn off, no, wait. It's not in that one. It is, I forgot where the setting was. Oh, there's oh no, it is sky colors. There we go. I just didn't read far down enough. Sky colors, and then in render, you can leave this as is basically, and then extra if you want to see FPS or whatever, you can do that. And that's about it for the normal Minecraft settings. Wait, where did my hotbar go? Oh yeah, that's something we need set up. Let's go on to mod configuration. So 3D skin layers, we can leave that as is. We can actually leave many of these things as is. Bobby, if you want to have higher render distance than 32, just go into the Bobby config, just like I did here. You can write something larger than that. I usually leave it at 128 because I usually use sometimes like 80 when I do renders, but you don't really need to use more than like max 55 before it starts lagging. Then we can just continue scrolling down all the way here. Dynamic sound filters. If you want to turn something off, you can do so. Effective. Now in effective, I usually turn off should flowing water spawn particles on first take. Now if the problem with effective is that it will check water for cascades and splashes. So that means that your chunks will render a bit slower in the ocean compared to when you're on land, because there's so much more water for it to handle. That's why there are particle culling mods to help with it to realize that it doesn't need to render those particles. So it should be fine. But if you're sort of lagging in the ocean, or your chunks are rendering slow, it's not lag, it's just slow chunk rendering, disable cascades up here. That's the sort of waterfall particle, and it should be all fine. We can then continue all the way to entity view distance. Now, entity view distance. Hello, K-Maxi. No, this is a stream showing how to set everything up. The video is done already. Entity view distance is a perfect mod for performance on Wynn, because you can set the different entities view distance at a specific block range. And the reason why it's good for Wynn is because Wynn uses, for example, a lot of armor stands. So if you put this at 60, you will get better performance because there's less armor stands that are invisible already, but for it to even sort of think about. Then I usually just scroll down all the way to item, and I set that to 60, and item frame I turn to 30, just because cities can use item frames quite a lot, for example. I also change, for example, layer right here. As you can see at 512, I usually put that at 60 as well. And that's about it that I changed. But the most important one for Wynn is the armor stand. That will help your performance quite a bit. Then we can just continue down all the way to falling leaves. In the config here, you can just set, like, for example, a larger leaf size if you want that. And yeah, that's usually just what I do. For Immersive HUD, now this is quite a important one, otherwise it will feel like everything is gone and is looking weird, and that is the experience display time. Now I set this to 12,000 because I like to see my sort of level in the game, and all the other ones I just leave at display time for 6 seconds. For example, here's hand display time and stuff. I also, let's see, hide hands. I disabled that because I like to see my hand but yeah, the important one is the level, because everything will be up. As you can see, my health bar changes with the holding the weapon, and mana will change because I'm starting to regen mana for spells and such. But to see the level again, we sort of need to, I think it should just work to /class. There we go, textures are back. No, but you need to actually relog to see the level. Well, you will see your level once you relog. You should hear the new "There is no war inside the Fruman walls." I did. It's in the YouTuber Discord. I just didn't include it in the video because it's not in the mod yet, so I didn't want to spoil that. But I do have the file that you sent. Continuing. Let's see if there are more mods that we need to set up. Let's see. Yeah, not enough animations. If you're using that, of course, if you want to use train guys, make sure to also remove 3D skins, otherwise your skin will display in a different animation than the train guys animation. But in this config, I turn on world books and falling animation. There's also Naruto running one. So yeah, you can run like that. Pretty fun if you are into that sort of thing. For presence footsteps in here, you can change around with the volume, for example. Raised, no, nothing to fix there. In remove HUD, not hands. Here you want to disable block outlines because it looks weird with outlines on Wynn. In here I also disable scoreboards and boss bar. That's what I disable because I don't really like seeing those things. And in overlay, you can also disable status effect overlay. And that's about it for that. And then, let's see, WaveyCapes has a config as well, if you want to change anything around here. But I usually put on wind to see a little sort of wiggle on it when you stand still. And that's about it. Moving on to controls and keybinds. Now, yeah, this will maybe take a little bit of time, but let's see if we can sort of speed run through this here. So first here we can scroll down to WynnLib. I usually set my buttons to open the handbook and just set random buttons that I never use, because I don't really use these options. But if you want slot lock, for example, set to a button that you will use. For, let's see, logical zoom, I have C. Oh, where is C used already? Use. Save hotbar. Well, actually, that doesn't matter because I'm not in creative on Win. Over to, let's see, remove HUD and not hand. I usually have, no, exactly. No, I have F6 and F8 because I use the cinematic camera on F7. I'm just gonna find where cinematic camera, that's where that is. F10, I don't use that because that is what I use for recording, so I don't want the same button as that. Shoulder surfing. Now this is sort of not, yeah. If you want to set this up, you can see all these settings if you have those on your keyboard. Now the up arrow is the little normal like OG video game arrows that you have. If you don't have that, you can set it to different buttons. YDMsWeaponMaster is an important one. We're gonna need to set that up. Oops, I'll set that to V still because I'm gonna change things around down here. Now I don't really use custom spells, but you can if you want. Yeah, but what we want is to remove C because we're using that. Oh, there we go. And that should be about it for the keybinds, I believe. Let's see. No, something is still using buttons here. Oops, wrong. Maybe it can't use that, I guess. Still weird. Right. So let's see. There we go. So first, let's start off with ShoulderSurfingReloaded. Now, if you press F5 for a couple of times, you will now get a new option. As you can see, the little crosshair is disabled, and that is something I forgot because in Immersive HUD, it will also hide crosshair, so you can disable that if you always want to see the crosshair. But yeah, so if you want to change this, you press the page up or page down buttons on your keyboard, or to whatever buttons you set to move it up or down. Usually have it like this, and then you can move it with the other arrows like this. Now, I recommend testing this out on, for example, a mage that has light bender. And the reason, let's see, where's, oh, there it is. The reason is because, come on, come on, come on. Oh, like no mana here. Oh, wrong spell. There we go. Now the reason I recommend this is because when you sprint, you're gonna get these little orbs in your face. So I usually just move the camera a little bit. Yeah, wait, yeah, my FOV is ending. There we go. And then you can just move it forward or backward. Is this virus? No, it's not. There we go. For example, you can move it like this. Or more to the side. But yeah, that is basically what you can do about that. So that's it for the shoulder surfing. Moving on, we can start with YDMsWeaponMaster because you can see a bit of a mess here. Whatever button you set in, it's the sort of starting button it has is V. You get this little menu. And the reason, or what you need to, you can turn off different slots. And if you turn off these last three, your quest book, soul points will disappear from your back. I usually disable everything except my main hotbar. And that is where I keep my weapon. And then when I don't use it, it goes on my back. Now, as you can see, the model looks a bit weird. It depends very much on model. So if you have a sort of texture that you use a lot or cosmetic, you can then click more. In here, you can see here, we have selected the number 1. That's the one we're editing. We want it to be on the body, right? I usually angle my character by dragging here a bit, and then we can sort of click on the positions here to move it around. As you can see, that moves it to size where we sort of try to center it, and then rotation here. We don't want to actually change that too much. There we go. Not that one either. It's this one we want to change to sort of look like this, but it's sort of colliding with our body, so we can lower it a little and then push it out slightly like that, and then move it back in a little. So you can very much customize how things look on your body. So if you have sort of a model that you use a lot, but usually it works fine with most weapons after you've set up this initially. If we go back to the archer I was on before, for example, bows tend to be a bit weird, but I think if now with 2.0 it's harder to sort of fix the textures, but if you go into your inventory and just plop it down again, yeah, you can see this needs a little bit of a change. So we can just go in and move this around a little. It's not too annoying to do. It's very much easy once you figure out what to do it. So yeah. But anyways, that's it for YDMsWeaponMaster. Can I get the orchestra to work? I can see your resource pack folder. Yes. The issue is that in the first version, I accidentally sent it zipped. You need to unzip it and extract it into this folder, and then it shows up. I'll fix that as well, but yeah, that's how you get the texture pack to work. I read chat for once, but yeah. So next mod we're gonna start with is WynnLib. In the keybinds, I set a button for it. You open the sort of handbook, it's called, I believe. In here you can see a config, and here you can select if you want your ability bar on crafted items, emerald pouch bar to see how full it is. Usually I just click down and disable all the little item colors. I don't really use those, or charges, skill points, pouch lock I don't use, and that's about it that I do for WynnLib. That way now we have to deal with Wynntils doing colors. Also, if you want to disable skins, you can see here in your inventory and a little button. Here you can hide your armor. You can keep the helmet if you're using helmet cosmetics. And then you can disable or enable it for everyone you're looking at. That means that, you know, you want to roleplay with your skin because you made a super cool medieval looking skin for a specific type of video, then you can, you know, but not everyone has that, so you can have them wear armor instead. Now, if there's no one around here to look at, but no, actually there are some couple people here. Hey, you can see the Naruto running on these people too. But yeah, for example, you can disable it for them, or you can enable their helmets if they are wearing skins as well, or cosmetics. After that, we can open the quest book, because that contains the Wynntils settings. Now, we have to config and overlay. I'm gonna start with overlay here. With overlay, I usually keep all these bars here for different spells and abilities. I disable the health bar because I don't like the custom one. And then I change the mana bar. Game notifications, I turn the info boxes off because I don't use those. Minimap, I keep on. NPC dialogue. Okay, I forgot to mention that. Right clicking disables or enables. Left clicking, as you can see when I hover over it, lets you move it around. So if we scroll down to minimap and we left click, we can see where minimap is. I like to minimize this. But yeah, so usually I just keep it not too big, and then apply, And then for the NPC dialogue, I tend to move it down here because I play with a disabled chat, and I just want to see the quest. Isn't sharing the mod files of some of these mods literally illegal? No. But then let's see, daily objective I don't use, powder abilities I don't use, quest info tracker I don't use, shaman mask I don't use, and then status overlay I don't use. For the config, but yeah, so in this menu here, let's see what I change here. Item highlights, I don't use that. I disabled that. Item text overlays, I disable. When you change anything in this menu, you have to click apply for it to work. You can just find it in the quest book again. And to actually see the normal quest book, you can just click on there. I also disabled the Wynntils quest book, and then you can find the settings by clicking escape, and you find it right here in the menu. So let's just search up, for example, quest book, Wynntils quest book. There we go. Now we open it, see normal quest book. And then let's see, item highlights I changed already. Minimap, for the minimap I usually scroll down here, and I disable the follow player rotation, because when you play in third person with the better third person mod, you can spin around a bit, and that looks weird when the entire minimap instead of just the player arrow spins around. And then I also play with the paper border type like that. And then for NPC dialogue, no, that was everything in there. Let's see, transparent player ghosts I disable, and I don't remember all the other settings that I use, because I didn't set this, or I don't sort of use Wynntils that much. Name tag rendering, if you want to disable that, for example, then we can click apply. Let's see, yeah, everything is usually as I have it. The emeralds thing, if you don't like that, when you open and see all your emeralds and stuff, you can disable that by going in here and just searching emeralds. I think inventory emerald count disable. There we go. And that's it for that config. And now you can see when we move around like this, the entire minimap doesn't actually spin around. You can also disable the sort of minimap coordinates as well. So we can go back to minimap. And let's see, do coordinates disabled. There we go. Now, I have forgotten to turn on shaders, but as you can see, you can find the complementary shaders right here. We can open that. And then we can open the settings. Now, usually I recommend by just clicking on low here. And these are the settings that the testers used, for example. But you can change this sort of profile to low and then turn off PBR to basic here for better performance. You can find world curvature in here with the world curvature on or off, and then you can change the size. Minus means it curves upwards, plus means it curves downwards. And for example, if you want the light from the sun to sort of shine down, you find light shafts down here, and you can turn them on as well. Let's see, waving stuff. We can see here that it's all on already. And yeah, water. Now I forgot to actually check all my water settings, but I have the RTX-ish water. Okay, K-Max, yeah, I can fix that. Let's see. And let's see. Watercolor. I think I turned up the opacity slightly. We can go to some water. Let's Naruto run over to some water over here. Oh yeah, I don't have my time changer mod, so we're gonna have to suffer the nighttime. But it has my settings already, so nighttime should be relatively bright. As you can see, you can sort of see through here. I think it looks pretty good. Oops, like that. But yeah, you can change wave settings if you don't like that. Look at these zombies. Anyways. Boink. Anyway. Yoink. What else do we need to set up? Actually, I think we've almost set everything up. But let's talk about the performance mods. I did already talk about some of the new ones, like entity view distance. But some of the new ones you can read about in the performance mod sort of explanation over on the Discord. Oh yeah, I forgot, I'm sharing the screen and not actually the game. But yeah. I think, let's see, I'm just checking all the list of all the mods to see what I've missed to configure, but I think we've fixed all of it. The performance mods you can read about if you're interested, but we've sort of fixed the entity view distance one. That is the one that sort of requires configuration, and that's sort of about it. And yeah, anyways, I think I'm gonna click on this Q&A thing, because I think when I click on it I can see all the questions. In Q&A, confirm. How can I see all the questions? Oh, what? This is weird. Anyway, I think we've set it all up. And I actually just gonna turn off the Naruto run because I didn't use it myself personally. Now that sound is always loud because it is not in the sound settings, so that's a bit of a bummer. But yeah, that's about it for the mod pack. But yeah, that's it. Oops, wrong spell because we're on this. Ta-da! Hopefully you guys enjoy. Gonna end the stream now because it's just how to set things up. Bye.